Hi, I'm
Sakshi?
Sakshi. Oh, sorry. I'm from Team 1868, and this is my third season on the team. And I'm also a senior on the business and outreach team. And the reason I wanted to go into robotics is because I really like math and science, but I just wanted an opportunity to work with my hands.
Cool. Ria?
Hi, my name's Ria. I'm from Team 2265, the Iron Maidens. I am the team captain. This is my fourth year on the team. I am a high school senior. And I guess if I were to say a department, I spent pretty much all my time on the team on the engineering department. I pretty much just got into robotics because I joined the team to pass the time in the beginning of my time in high school, but now it's pretty much consumed my life. So
Cailin?
Hi, I'm Cailin. I'm from Team 1967, the Janksters. I'm the team captain for this year. I spend a lot of my time in the mechanical committee. This is my fourth season of robotics, and I am the senior. And I got interested in robotics because I did FLL in middle school, and I just really liked building.
Juliana?
Hi, my name is Juliana Santillan. I'm on Team 1481, the Riveters. I do programming, electrical, and also videography. This is my third season on Team 1481 and my seventh season overall with First. And I'm a high school junior. And the reason I'm interested in robotics, my old school, before they had FLL and FTC, they had a robotics club. So I was a part of that, and then I did FLL and FTC before joining 1481.
Regan?
Hi, I'm Regan Williams, and I'm in Team 1481, the Riveters, is with Juliana, and I am strategy lead, and this is my third season on the team 1481, and my third season on First as well. And I'm a high school junior, and I decided to join robotics because I really enjoyed Legos, and then I found out that it had way more to do with just engineering in general, and I grew to love it.
And then Christine.
Hi, I'm Christine Yang, and I'm part of Team 2135, which is Presentation Invasion. I'm part of the programming sub-team and also the leadership team as well. And this is my third season of robotics, and I'm also a junior. And what really got me interested in robotics was that I was already really interested in STEM, but I wasn't really sure what aspect I wanted to be in for my career. And robotics was a really great opportunity to explore and learn about different types of engineering through software, mech design, manufacturing parts, and so much more. And I'm so glad that I joined.
Cool. So let's start off with some questions from the panelists. Okay. What have been some challenges of being on an all-girls team?
So personally, I am a shy and kind of quiet person, but joining robotics has really helped me to get more self-confidence and get my ideas out there. And especially because STEM is still pretty male-dominated, it's slightly discouraging with the lack of female mentors. Not talking about like robotics mentors, but more of like connections in STEM. And being on an all-girls team really empowered me to increase my self-confidence so that and realize that my ideas are valid and deserve to be heard. And it's really trained me to stand up for myself, and this will definitely help me in my future career.
Yeah. Let's see. Regan, what's it like being on an all-girls team?
So personally, for me, being on an all-girls team is like it's like you're hanging out with your friends while you're doing exactly what you love. It's like you're just hanging out and then also like building stuff, and it's really cool that you can get medals and maybe win stuff for just having fun and doing what you love with your friends. So personally, that's what it's like for me.
How about you, Sakshi? What's it like being on an all-girls team?
I think, for one, it's a really supportive environment. I'm never afraid to ask questions if I don't know what something is. I'm more willing to take risks. And it's also just so encouraging and so great to see so many talented, capable, and intelligent girls on my team. Not just that, but the bonds you make with them. And it's also encouraging to see that girls can do whatever they want and they can succeed too. And it's just a really encouraging environment. And it feels good to know that it's not just you and you have so many girls who are in the same position as you. And that feeling of encouragement just makes it a really good environment to be in.
Yeah. Julia, how does being on an all-girls team help you excel?
So when you are a part of an all-girls team, everything is on an equal playing field. As we know, STEM is a majority male, mostly a male-dominated field. But when you're on an even playing field, we know as women how we should be treated and what we should be expecting from the workplace. So we know that if we do not receive that when we are in the workplace in any field, we shouldn't be complacent, and we should be able to speak out against and be able to get the treatment that we deserve. And I think that being on these teams, being on this team, shows me, and I'm pretty sure everyone else here, what it is that treatment should look like.
Let's see. Juliana, how do you feel? Do you feel a difference in the community being on an all-girls team?
Yeah, I feel a difference being on in the community, being on an all-girls team. I feel like being on an all-girls team helps me also influence other girls to go into STEM, and also I can show and help other girls in my school community with what I learned in engineering, and also it helps me be a better leader as well.
Yeah. How about you, Regan?
I would have to say pretty much the same thing as Juliana said, being that it's so important to have girls feel welcome into the whole STEM community, and it feels so great just to know that I can contribute and be a part of that.
Ria, how are competitions different on an all-girls team than being on a co-ed team?
So I have mentored a Coed FTC team, but most of what I'm going to say is based off of the Coed team at my school, because my school has both my team, the all-girls team, and the Coed team. In terms of competitions, I would have to say that it's not exactly all that different, and the experience that you get at competitions, because I feel like that should be the point, right? You shouldn't, on an all-girls team, you shouldn't feel like you're able to speak out more, but you shouldn't feel like there's a big difference in how you feel overall at say competition. But if I were to say in a normal community or during meets and stuff, I do want to point out that maybe this is just our team and how our team normally functions, but our team, as an all-girls team, tends to be a bit more planning-based. We tend to plan everything out. Okay, first we have to draw this. Then we have to ask the teachers, hey, what are we going to order? Do this, do this, do this. And it can get a bit frustrating in the beginning because you just kind of want something to be done, but you want to plan everything out first, while the Coed team tends to be much more free-flowing. They'll be like, oh, we want something done, we'll just do it. And if it doesn't work, then it'll blow up, and then we'll start again. And while that does tend to get things going faster in the beginning, for the Coed team, we do notice that later on in the season, it can get very messy because everything is just kind of happening all at once. They haven't really planned everything out, so things don't mesh well together. Well, for our team, it's hard to get things started, but later on in the season, it becomes very easy to function as a team and work together between departments. So there's ups and downs for each side. It's really dependent on, I guess, who you are as a person.
Yeah. Sakshi, how has joining robotics increased your interest in STEM?
Well, for one, it's exposed me to practical applications of STEM. It's shown me what it's like working in STEM in a non-classroom, in a non-traditional environment. You get to do things that, like I said, you wouldn't be able to do in a classroom, and you learn by doing. which for me, that's how I prefer to learn as opposed to like reading or seeing. And it's just exposed me to different aspects of STEM too, like computer science and mechanical engineering. And it's shown me also real life applications of how these different topics in STEM could be applied.
Yeah. How about you, Juliana? How has joining a robotics team increased your interest in STEM?
So before I really joined robotics, I knew that I wanted to do something STEM related as a career choice. And now that I'm actually in robotics and doing stuff, I know that I want to go into computer engineering. And it's really robotics that helped me solidify that choice because it's given me the knowledge and the practice and given me just ideas on what to do with like the knowledge that what to do with the knowledge that I've gained through robotics. I can apply it toward my career.
Yeah. Let's see. Cailin, how has being on an all-girls team motivated you to introduce/teach other girls about STEM?
So being on an all-girls team, it really gave me like a sense of empowerment and confidence in myself because like everyone on the team has the same level of respect, which is very important for like STEM fields, and I really enjoyed it because it made me like realize what I needed to do and what I could do, and so I was motivated to help like introduce and teach other girls about STEM because one, it's actually our team mission as the Janksters to introduce girls to STEM, and so we've been able to like host a variety of events that are geared towards girls, whether they're in like high school or in middle school even, because we just want to be able to give those girls the same like sense of empowerment and confidence that like I was able to experience, and because I think it's something that's really important and it's really good for them.
Yeah. How about you, Christine? How has being on this team motivated you to introduce/teach other girls about STEM?
As I said before, I think STEM is very underrepresented by women with a lack of connections. And I love how being on robotics and on this team is helping me pursue a career in STEM so I can become a role model and a mentor for other girls in the future. And that's just so empowering to me.
Cool. Yeah. Let's see. Juliana, did you decide to go to your particular school because of robotics?
Yes, I did decide to go to my school because of robotics, because the schools where a lot of my friends were going, like a lot of them didn't really have robotics programs at the time, and I knew that robotics is something I wanted to do in high school, so I decided to go and join to high school at Mercy and join the Riveters, and I'm really glad I did because I love the Riveters so much. It's such a great community to be a part of.
How about you, Cailin?
Yeah, I for sure decided to go to Notre Dame because of robotics. I really enjoyed building, and so when I went to their open house, I saw that they offered robotics, and I've been to events where I have seen the like the robot before. So I was like, okay, this seems really cool. I really want to do this, and I really like Notre Dame's community. So I figured if their community in general is like this, then I'm sure the robotics team is probably as close knit and as opening and like very welcoming. So I was like, all right, Notre Dame will be my number one high school because I love the community and because of the robotics team.
Okay. Let's start with specific questions. So why did you choose to be on Space Cookies rather than your district team?
So, well, to begin with, I actually didn't really know about my district team, and I learned about the space cookies from one of my friends on my sports team, and she introduced me to it, and she was like, it's this Girl Scout FRC team, it's this all-girls team, and I knew that robotics always interested me, but the fact that it was all girls also interested me a little more because I would have felt more at ease with an all-girls team. And when I went to the team's open house, everyone was so nice and so welcoming. And it was just such a great environment to be in. And I was really excited to join the team. So that open house and my friend who's already on the team, they really inspired me and pushed me to join the team. And I was super excited. So.
And why did you choose a Girl Scout team?
Well, I didn't actively go for a Girl Scout team. It was just that my FRC team was a Girl Scout troop, so that happened to be just another great part about the team, because we also get to work with Girl Scout troops and help them earn their badges, which is like super fun. And we get to sell cookies, which is like another great part about being on my team. So it's really fun. Yeah.
Juliana, how is being on an all-girls team different from being on a co-ed team?
So with a co-ed team, like it felt like we were friends, but it didn't feel like it was necessarily a community. But with an all-girls team, like I feel like I have a community of girls that have similar interests. And also on the co-ed team, I was one of 2 girls with a big group of guys. So it feels more empowering to be on an all-girls team, and I feel more motivated to want to do more in engineering and more in STEM.
And how has your team made a difference in your school community?
So prior to really us having a robotics team, a lot of the curriculum was more centered around the liberal arts. And then really we work to have a lot of new STEM courses added to the curriculum. Like now we have an Intro to Engineering class, we have AP Computer Science, we have a new STEM-related class for freshmen that builds a lot of teamwork. So I feel like robotics has done a lot to try to get new girls at our school, starting from freshman year and going up until senior year, trying to get them involved in STEM.
That's awesome. Let's see. Cailin, why is your team student driven instead of mentor driven?
So having a more like student driven team, it allowed us to give our students more opportunities for leadership, especially because we really want to instill that sense of leadership and confidence in high school girls. And it also allows us to help prepare students for the real world by giving them experience in a lead position. And it allows them to develop more like organizational and time management skills, because like as a leader, you really have to take charge of like certain projects, and you're taking on the responsibility of like how to do it, how to execute it, and like delegation. And all of those skills are very important for our future careers. And so by having a more student driven team, we kind of offer like that sort of like beginning small steps where you can make mistakes a little bit more easier, and there's a more supportive environment for it, because if we have a mentor driven team, it might feel like too heavily pushed. And also because mentors are like professional engineers, so they really know what they're doing, whereas for us, we're just high school girls trying to learn a little bit of engineering. So we want to take things step by step.
Yeah. And what unique events does your team host?
So one of the unique events that our team hosts is YWES, which is the Young Women's Engineering Symposium. So this is a one-a-day event where we usually invite women from STEM fields to come in and talk about their experiences working in STEM, as well as host a variety of workshops that pertain to their career. And this event is geared towards high school girls, both in and out of Notre Dame. We extend the invitation to like all high schools within our area and a bunch of other like all girls like FRC teams if we know any. And there's always a panel at the end of the event where we can have like a Q&A session with the women in STEM and ask them a lot of questions about what it's like to like be a single woman in such a heavily like male dominated field. And I think this makes our team really unique just because it's a pretty like large scale event for us, and it really fits in with our team mission too.
Christine, what skills have you learned from doing robotics?
So, of course, through robotics, I've learned a bunch of technical skills. So, learning how to use tools in the shop and like stuff like that. But also, I think what is overlooked is kind of the teamwork and collaboration it takes to build that robot. And another part of that is kind of communication. And that's especially important since we're all in this virtual kind of, I guess, place right now. And really communicating with your teammates and goal setting to make sure that you have stuff that you want to accomplish and motivate yourself to get to that point. And another part of that is leadership skills as well. So kind of taking that initiative to get things done on the team and motivate your teammates to accomplish those goals.
That's awesome. And how does your team promote student leadership?
So very similar to what Cailin said. She really phrased it really well. But a lot of things on our team is student driven. So students come up with the agenda and setting goals for what we want to accomplish each year, and motivating all other teammates to kind of get excited and feel passionate about robotics and accomplish a lot of things on the team.
Cool. And then Regan, other than being a group of only females, what makes your team unique?
I think one thing that makes our team unique is like how supportive our team is, and I know every team is supportive, but I personally, although I may be like a little biased, I believe that our team is the most supportive. I don't think there's anything that our team could do or say, like anybody that where our team like wouldn't be supportive. Like even if like although they want us everybody on the team, like their goal is to not is although like our goal is to just open up our opportunity and like our just open up this field of study for women and other girls that might be interested. But if it's something that they try and don't like our mentors and everybody on the team will say, it was really nice knowing you, like we'd love to stay in contact with you, I hope you find something that you do like to do. It's just we're very, very open to do anything. And although we do want you on the team, if it doesn't fit right for you, then that's okay. And I just think it's the greatest thing ever, because after like staying with them on the team for 3 years, and it is something that I like to do, I've bounced around a lot of different subgroups, and I found one that I truly love. And it's just it's very I guess happy. Like it's just very happy for me knowing that I can, even now, if I change my mind, like strategy isn't like the right spot for me, even though I love it so much, I want to try something else. Like they'd say, okay, go ahead, yeah, you can try something else totally. So I just think that their support for me and everybody else on our team is just amazing.
Yeah, and then why did you choose the all-girls team at your school rather than the co-ed team?
So
when we
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I thought you cut out for a hot second, so I didn't know who you're talking to. I was like,
when we sorry, I kind of like all mixed up there for a second. For both of our teams, we share a room for an interest meeting. When I first went to the interest meeting for robotics, it's basically everyone sits in the gymnasium, and then after they do all their introductions, all of the people can just kind of, including me, walk around and talk to the different teams to see which environment you like. I kind of gravitated more towards the Iron Maidens. The co-ed team, I tried to talk to them a bit, but I couldn't really fit into the conversation. And sometimes when I did try to talk to one of the heads at the time, it felt a little condescending. I wasn't really able to ask them about anything because they kept trying to mansplain everything to me. And so I kind of gravitated more towards the all girls team, and everyone there was just so nice. It felt nice being in a group where everyone is kind of, they all talk because we're on an equal level, because that's what we are. And I felt a lot more comfortable being there. So that's why I really chose more the all girls team. Not saying that like everyone on the team, on the co-ed team is condescending. It was just that one person or like that group of people that I didn't really fit in with that much. Yeah.
And then, what is your relationship Coed team at your school?
This is something that actually a lot of people ask. And I want to say that we are pretty much, everyone thinks that we're rivals or that we like fight a lot or that we are always competing with each other, but that's really not true. And I guess you would think that, oh, we're two teams in the same place. But because of that, it's more like siblings. Sometimes you'll hit your sibling every now and then, but in the end, you still do love each other. We are pretty much best friends. Everyone everyone has a friend on the co-ed team, on my team. And I talk with them all the time. I talk with their captain all the time. We make plans together. We're thinking of having a group Among Us game together. It's pretty much just like, that sibling rivalry, I guess you could say, if you want to say like that there's some competition there. Like we do, but when we're like at competitions and stuff, we help each other. We lend each other tools. We're always put together at regionals for some reason. But yeah, it's pretty much just like, an ongoing conversation where we're two separate teams, but because we share the same space, we work together a lot and we're just, enjoy robotics together.
Yeah, that's cool. Now we're going to take this time to have a Q&A so the audience can ask questions to the panelists.
Am I allowed to ask a question?
Sure.
Okay. I was just curious for everyone here, how do you guys run your meetings? Is it like online or is it in person?
I guess I can answer that first.
You can answer.
You can go ahead. Okay, so
okay.
We actually do ours. Oh, are we like delayed or something? Sorry.
Yeah, I think so.
Our teams have meetings through Zoom, and it's still virtual right now. But we are hoping to maybe get stuff open, but it's not like certain, especially now. But yeah, just over Zoom, really casual meetings.
Yeah, it's really annoying because we have to like jump over a bunch of hoops to get anything. We can't take anything out of the school because it's school property, and it's kind of frustrating. So what we're doing on my team is we're basically having all of the departments meet up for a preseason, doing their own projects that they wanted to do, and then during build season, we're probably going to do something like breakout rooms or like multiple Google Meets meetings where people can just go in and out if they need to. But yeah, just leaving it up to the heads for now. There's a question.
I can go next.
Yeah.
Okay. So at the moment we are having in-person meetings, but we're just trying to our main room is big enough so that we can space everyone out. And with every sub-team, like with our CAD, it's a small space, so we try to limit the number of people that are in there at any given time. We try to limit the number of people that are working on a certain programming project, like in the room where they're all sitting together. So we are having in person, but we are trying to limit how many people are in close contact with each other.
Oh, there's a question above the survey.
So let's see. Can you elaborate on how your all-girls teams have been received by the broader FRC community?
I have been approached multiple times, just like our team in general. I don't say we have been approached multiple times by other teams, especially all girls teams. Some other all girls teams have approached us saying like, "Oh my god, dude, we love what you do. We were inspired to make our all girls team based off of you." And that feels so good to like know that you are inspiring other girls to create their own all girls teams. There have also been people coming by like, "Oh yeah, we watched a bunch of stuff from you. We thought that you were really cool. Keep up the great work," stuff like that. So I guess you could say that we've been received pretty well by the broader community.
Yeah. Does anyone else want to answer that question, or should we go to the next one?
Yeah, I can. So, for the Riveters, I think for the most part we've been retrieved pretty well. Last season, before COVID hit, was our first time trying to get Chairman's Award during our district competitions, and surprisingly, we won because of the way that other people perceived us, and because of our hard work. We have done a lot for the community, and it feels really good to know that we can be inspiring others through the Chairman's Award and through all of our actions and everything that we've done.
Very cool. Okay, let's go to the next question. Or I think Sakshi, did you want to answer this? 1, 2.
The previous question, I think Cailin was about to say something. I'm not sure.
Oh, Cailin.
Yeah.
Sorry, I couldn't tell who.
I think for us, we're like pretty usually we're kind of known for our the YWES event. We're usually known for that, I like to think. But also people tend to know us, or at least ask us. Like when they ask us, "Oh, like what team are you from? Like where, like what school?" And we give them our school, and then I think we're usually really connected to the infamous Team 254, because Bellarmine, I think, is one of the teams, or like one of the schools that we're really close to. So anytime people ask like, "Oh, we go to like Notre Dame," like, "Oh, you guys know Bellarmine?" And like, yeah, so we're like pretty well connected in that way. And same with presentation too. Usually like presentation, Bell and Notre Dame like to get in like a little mix when we're all talking with each other. So yeah, people usually know us by Bellarmine.
Okay, so let's go to the next question. Outreach into our communities to promote STEM in women is very important. Do you find it easier for your teams to promote STEM?
So this is a very marketing-based question. Our marketing team, I'm gonna guess you're asking, is it easier to promote STEM because we are an all-girls team? I would admit that yes, it is easier for us to get some larger names to look at us because of our all-girls nature, because it is not as common. So it is easier for us to like get magazines to look at us or something like that. But I wouldn't say that they are solely focused on, "Oh, that's just girls on that team. Wow, that's weird." It's more like, "Oh, they are empowering and they are good at what they do. So what is it that's different about that team that makes them so interesting?" I wouldn't say that it's just like, "Oh, that's just like," it's not focused on the fact that we're girls, but the fact that just amplifies our identity, I guess you could say. But I would say yes, it is a bit easier. I'll admit that.
To clarify for that question, when they asked, is it easier, do they mean easier than being on a co-ed team, or like easier in what way?
Oh yeah, my response was it is easier than a co-ed team because easier. then.
Okay, because what I would say is that my team does do a lot of community outreach, but because I've never been on a co-ed team or another team, I would not be able to give a comparison on how my team does. But I just can say that we do a lot of outreach. I just wouldn't know how that compares if I
Yeah,
was on
my
another
response
team.
is based off of our co-ed team. So
Cool. Okay. Does anyone else want to answer that, or should we go to the next question? We're going to take that as going to the next question. Okay. Are there any areas of the teams that your team struggled to fill up? For example, on your gender specific, we struggle to get students involved with design.
I can answer this. So for what I've seen, like, it honestly depends on like the year. Since I remember last year, well, like the year I joined, there were not that many people that joined business, but a lot of people joined like mechanical and programming. And then there are other years where more people joined mechanical than programming. This year we had a lot of new people join in every sub team. So it honestly just depends on the year, who's coming in, what they're interested in. Yeah, that's been our experience with it.
Yeah, adding on to what Juliana said, since we're a school-based team, it really does depend on like the year and like I guess how the students are interested in each type of sub-team. So, for example, my year had a lot of people interested in software, but not really in mech design or marketing. But we are having like a steady flow of like students coming and getting interested in like the variety of sub teams. So yeah.
For us, I think our mechanical sub team tends to be the most popular sub team, and we do hold workshops before the build season just to introduce all the girls to every sub team and see what they want. But typically, our mechanical workshops still tend to have the highest attendance and the most people showing up. And I think it was like that my first year, and I think it's still like that. So yeah, mechanical is always the most popular.
I'm kind of surprised that the specific team struggles. I don't know if that's like because of like the nature of women, because our team, it's like we just always struggle to get electronics members. It's just never, it's just something, I guess and I would say that it's because electronics doesn't really have a rep at all. People don't really understand what you do on electronics, so they don't really try out. They would rather try out for something that they do know, like engineering or marketing or programming. As for design, we like have design mixed in with engineering. So, and as I said, we are a very planning based team. So we kind of have to have people design things in order for them to want to buy the materials to build it.
Actually, Ria, that's actually really interesting to me because for our team, our sub team for programming is called like control systems and programming. So the team
Control
that
systems.
sub
That's
team kind
cool.
of takes care of like the electronics and on the robot and also programming as well. So that was just really interesting to me. Yeah.
Yeah, I learned
I
that a
think
lot of teams don't really have electronics, and I was kind of surprised by that. Oh, does someone want to say something? I'm sorry. You can go.
Oh, yeah. So I think similar to a lot of other people, our business committee it always like tends to like struggle with getting members, and our mechanical committee actually ends up taking up about I think half of our team at the moment, and so that's yeah, a lot of our students involved in design because we always like to emphasize design as like one of the first steps in our like process of designing mechanisms. And we also have a lot of mentors that strongly support the idea of design. So they're always like pushing us to do design and they really won't let us do anything if we don't really have like a CAD or an actual like written up thing for a prototype. We can't do any building without it. So that's like one of the reasons why our students tend to be pretty involved in design. And since business is usually a really small committee, they usually just outsource to other students. So like during the build season, if there are some like programming students that finished like programming their code for whatever mechanism they were working on, and business needed help with a project, we're just like, hey, programming, like, do you want to help out business with this or something? So that's usually how we're able to just round that like really small like committee.
Oh, we get a lot of people trying out for marketing because I think we advertise for people like, hey, even if you're not interested in STEM, there's always a thing for you. Because I feel like robotics is really like a business, you know? Like you have to promote your brand, bro. You know, get some merch. So that's, I don't know. That's, I feel like
Sponsors.
we get a lot of marketing people because, yeah, right? Like getting sponsors, like it's really like a business. Like you need a PR team and stuff. So we kind of started advertising more to like people in like humanities, being like, hey, if you want something and you still want to be part of robotics, then why not join us? So I don't know. That's how we've been doing it.
Yeah, I think it's great
Oh,
too
how does
because
that
you can
affect-
get like, oh, sorry. I think that's
Oh,
really great
never
too
mind.
because then like students can get involved in like other sub teams as well, even if like they're more concentrated in like one of them. So yeah, it's like a great way to get more involved in other aspects and like try it out and explore.
Ria, could I ask you a question?
Me? Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just curious about how your marketing or your branding between your team and your co-ed team looks like, how the difference looks like.
The marketing for our in between the teams. Oh man, I think it's pretty. So our marketing team is relatively new. We tend to, so our members are pretty much still learning all of the things that they need to learn because it's kind of like we've never really touched these things before. We do focus more on like social media and like, you know, creating infographics and stuff about women, about like famous women and stuff like that, while and like focusing more on our YouTube channel and stuff. Our co-ed team doesn't really do as much like social media, but they do focus on their YouTube and creating videos a lot. They're thinking of creating resources for people even that aren't on robotics. So I don't think that we do get a lot of people that are interested in like art, which is why I said infographics. So we get a lot of like merch designs and stuff. And we get a lot of people interested because they want to, you know, create like posters and stuff for the team. But I can't speak too much about the co-ed team because I don't exactly know how their marketing team works. I do know that they focus a lot on YouTube and videos creation, though.
I believe there's a question aimed for the Riveters in the chat. So yeah,
Yep.
we are based out of an all-girls school, but currently there also are 2 boys on the team, and they are brothers of 2 girls that were on the team that have since graduated. And honestly, it doesn't really change the gender dynamic that much since we all get along with both of them and we're friends with both of them, and it really doesn't change.
Yeah, I think all girls teams. Oh, yeah, sorry. You can.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say like even though we are all girls teams, then because most of our like I guess dynamic comes from that fact that we are majority female. Like my team has 2 non-binary members, so I can't say that we are entirely female, but we do support like it fits our message, you know. We have to support minority groups, and even in those minority groups, there's not only women, there's transgender people, there's non-binary people. So having not girls on the team, I don't think affects your dynamic too much when you're still promoting that kind of like all girls idea or concept. in terms of gender dynamics. That was a question.
Yeah. Okay. Does anyone else have anything to say for that question? Or should we go to the next one? Because I think there's one more. Chat. I'm going to take that as we can go next to the next question. Okay, so do you think there's anything your team emphasizes because of the all girls nature? For example, more student run leadership or an emphasis on building technical skills?
I'd have to say yes.
You can go first. You can go first.
Okay. So I think for us, I don't think it's because we're an all-girls team that we put those priorities first, if that makes sense. Like, we do like everything to be student-run, but not because we're all girls, but because we're capable of that. And it's just because if we like to do it, why not have us do everything pretty much? Like, our mentors are there to guide us and teach us everything, but we pretty much do the majority of it. But that is not just because we are all girls. It is because we are capable of doing so.
Yeah, so I think like similar to what Regan was saying, for us, we're an all girls like school, and so since we are the school team, we are most likely going to be like a majority girls team for sure. And so I don't think we really like push on it too much. I think the leadership aspect just happens to be a part of like the team and a part of the team culture sort of. And as for like an emphasis on building technical skills, that's usually just something we want to encourage in general, like co-ed or not. We always like, I think having to like emphasize technical skills and just FRC in general is something really important. So we just happen to be an all girls team, and we happen to just like really want to emphasize technical skills in like different aspects of robotics. And so I don't think like because of our all girls nature, we really prioritize anything specifically. We're kind of just a team that's just vibing together and just wanting to like learn more about engineering.
Yeah, comparing our team to the Coed team, I would say that there is a difference in what we emphasize because I said this before, we emphasize planning a lot. So there's a lot more design. There's a lot more focus on, okay, make sure that you have a drawing together, make sure that you have a bill of materials, make sure that you know what you want to order, and we have to do all of this stuff before we pretty much do anything like regarding building. Well, the guys on the Coed team just kind of like, oh, well, we just kind of threw a CAD together. We'll see if it works. And if it doesn't, then oh well. We kind of are more like, okay, make sure that all of these CADs work together, make sure that all of the designs fit together on the same robot, and then we can start building. So if there's anything that we do emphasize, I would say it's planning and design rather than technical skills.
That's awesome. So I think we should start with ending with the last question. Does everyone agree with that? So it's 9:50. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So what have been the best things about being on an all-girls team?
Okay, I guess I'll start then. So for me, the best thing is kind of like bringing this like back, like full circle back to what I said in the beginning. It's like, is the fact that you get to hang out with all of your best friends doing what you love. Like you're with a group of everybody that you love and that understands you. It makes you feel so welcome, and that you can feel like you just feel so welcome and loved the entire time while you're doing except like what you love. No matter, like, I have a lot of anxiety, so it doesn't matter how much anxiety I have. I am brave enough to do anything on that team, especially when I'm with those group of girls. So that's probably one of the best things.
Backpacking off what Regan said, for me, it's definitely the girls on the team. That's the best part of an all-girls team. Like, they're just such wonderful people. I love them all. And the friendships you make, like during build season, when you're staying up late and waking up super early, like the bonds you make just staying up all night talking, like it's unbeatable. You can't. And also because my team is different, it's not a school team. It's so great to have like a wonderful friend group that's not at your school, and yeah, just having so many fun people to talk to. It's great. Yeah, so that's definitely my favorite part.
Yeah, adding on to that, it's pretty much like a sisterhood. Like you hang out with these girls, you work like 24/7 during build season to build that robot, and you really build those experiences and those bonds that really stick with you. And it's really a safe environment in a community to learn, make mistakes, learn from those mistakes, but then try again and excel.
Is it possible for us to answer that last question, or is it like?
Yeah, I
do
think
we have to
so.
end?
I think we have time. I think we have like 8 minutes, right? So,
Okay.
any thoughts for creating the kind of culture in a co-ed setting? I went to an all-girls school, but now coach a co-ed team.
So I'm gonna guess you're asking about the recruitment / knowledge retention. If you could be more specific on what kind of culture you're referring to, that would be great. But if I were to say, for the recruitment, it's not really all that different, I would say, between like girls and guys. If you guys have a different opinion, then you can totally chime in. But I feel like to promote a robotics team is really just, oh, hey, look at that cool robot. How'd they make it? And then I guess if you do some demos and stuff showing your robot off, people will show interest.
I think if she's asking about like retention and like the knowledge skill, then I think at least for what our team does, we really emphasize having a transfer of knowledge between our upperclassmen and our underclassmen. So usually in a lot of our like subgroups and in a lot of our projects in build season, we always want to pair up like at least 2 to 3 veterans with like 2 to 3 rookies so that like during the build season and even during preseason in our projects, like those rookies will slowly begin to like learn more and more about what we're doing and how we're doing it from those veterans, so that by the time like our season is over and once our seniors graduate, there will be like other people on the team who have the knowledge that the seniors had, so we don't usually lose like too much knowledge, but that also kind of depends on like how big our senior group was and like how many roles they took on. But we usually want to have like that transfer of knowledge between having our veteran students teach our rookie students.
Yeah, you'll eventually have to restart every year, like with some things. After every 4 years, probably someone's going to forget something, or like aim's going to be too far behind to remember what you did then. But if you just do as that's Cailin, right? As Cailin said, then and having like vets teach rookies and passing that knowledge down, then how no that are girls, you should really just ask them. Really, I would highly suggest just making sure that you send out forums, making sure that you have an open, be that person that open to complaints, being like, make sure that your girls feel comfortable to go up to you and be like, hey, I don't really feel comfortable. I feel like everyone speaks over me. If you have that, if you are that person that creates that community that helps them feel like they can speak up about things that they are uncomfortable with on the team, then it will really, I feel like, help you create that environment that you want to create.
if there's any questions, say so. We can start wrapping up the panel. Yeah? Okay. Okay. I want to thank all the panelists who came to this event. You guys were awesome, and I personally loved hearing you guys. You guys are so empowering, and the audience, you guys for listening. These people, they did really great. I hope you guys know that. And as the hosting team for TCC,